Well, sweetheart, here we are again, another time to share with our partners in a very personal and a very intimate way. And how excited, I just can't tell you. I can hardly contain myself because this month's legacy is to share with you about the ministry of Israel.
Partners, you know, every time he talks about Israel, he can go on and on and on because there are so many wonderful stories and experiences. And today we're going to share some of those with you.
Amen.
A Jew by birth, Morris Cerullo was but a teenager when he found Christ and dedicated himself to a worldwide evangelical ministry. He knew that there would come a day when God would reveal to him the plan for reaching the nation of Israel before the coming of Jesus Christ. Although the young and spirited evangelist made his first journey to the new country Israel in 1955, it would take another dozen years before the yearnings of his heart for the Holy Land and its people would be answered. Then, in February of 1967, a few months before the famous Six-Day War in Israel, riding on a rickety bus down a dusty road in Buenos Aires, Argentina, Morris heard the voice of God.
And God speaks to me in the front of the bus, and he says, "Get up, go to the back of the bus, I want to talk to you." So I excused myself, went to the back of the bus, and the first thing that God said to me was, "Son, turn your eyes." And this was 6 months before the Six-Day War in Israel. Turn your eyes to the Middle East, because now is my time to work for my people, Israel.
Morris picked up a pen and began to write as God unfolded the plan for the Jewish world outreach, which now has spanned more than 5 decades. Following the Six-Day War, Brother Cerullo went to Israel, and the Jewish world outreach was launched with the first mass mailing in Israel to 400. This was followed with the first Israel Deeper Life Conference in Jerusalem, where more than 150 Jews received Christ. The Bezerat Shalom Israel Bible Correspondence Course, with 2,000 Jews enrolled, and the second mass mailing of Hear, O Israel, to 500,000 Jewish homes. The third mass mailing to every Israeli home was a Hebrew translation of the prophetic book of Daniel.
God is relevant at the point of...
In the early 1970s, Morris Cerullo realized the power of radio and television broadcasting to reach the Jews, and he started weekly evangelistic broadcasts. The second and third Israel conferences were held in 1973 and 1974. Hundreds of Jews gathered to hear the message of salvation. In 1975, he produced and broadcast an epic television special filmed at the actual Dead Sea site of the most famous Hebrew battle, Masada. More than 200,000 Jews responded to this program.
Know when you're here, not a single Jew must escape the Roman sword.
But because we chose death rather than slavery.
As the borders opened in the mid-70s, Brother Cerullo held many conferences in Israel, as he continues to do to the present. Hundreds more Jews are receiving salvation at these meetings.
As fast as you can get out of your seat, come stand around the front, in the aisles, come quickly everywhere. Come stand right here in the front, down the aisle, up in the balcony. You can't hardly get out from up there, but stretch your hands out right now. Stretch your hands out right
In
now.
1977, Morris Cerullo wrote and distributed to Jewish homes in North America 3.2 million copies of his book entitled Two Men from Eden. More than 10,000 Jews responded, asking Jesus to be their Messiah. The Israel Bible Correspondence Course grows to over 25,000, and the book Two Men from Eden is translated into Spanish, French, German, Portuguese, Hebrew, and later Russian. The Sound of Trumpets television special was produced in Israel's historic sites, and 40 programs were broadcast throughout all of North America.
Make me a child of your saving grace and cleansing blood. Make my life a shelter for a brother in despair.
You know, darling, after Beis Shabbat Shalom, I had no idea of what a miracle would open for the call of God on our life and ministry to reach every Jew in this entire world. But then came the book of Daniel, which we translated from the Aramaic. Then came the Two Men from Eden.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, and which we took that book and printed 3 million copies and sent it to another miracle, how we got a mailing list in the United States of America and Canada, and we mailed 3 million of those books to every Jew in America and in Canada and then in Europe, and then printed it in Russia and mailed it in Russian and mailed it in Israel in Hebrew, and the miracle continued. The outreach to the Jew continued. The witness to Israel continued. It was phenomenal. Then came the television.
Yeah.
Then came the biggest step of faith partners that our ministry ever took, and that was to take the cameras up on top of the hillsides of Masada.
Right.
No cameras, secular, religious, had ever done it.
Yeah.
But God used us, and we produced an hour documentary on Masada and showed it in the United States of America. It was, and we're all over the world. It was estimated 25 million people watched it. And almost every Jewish family in America watched it. And in 1 week, we got 200,000 letters flooded our office of gratitude for producing Masada. And then the outreach to building God an army, which is our legacy to the world. God showed me that the key to the world, reaching the world, was not just Morris preaching to these masses of people as long as I had breath, but to raise up the national, the African to reach Africa, the Asian to reach Asian, the South American to reach South American, the Mexican to reach Mexican. And yes, you'll see on this legacy film the Jew, to reach the Jew. And God is helping us and our ministry, your ministry partner, to carve out 144,000 spirit-filled, on fire Jewish nationals. They're going to be used by God.
Yes.